This interview is sponsored by Burn Up Coaching and our 21-day challenge. So if you're an entrepreneur or high achiever, yet you feel vaguely dissatisfied, you feel like you've plateaued, like you're not hitting the goals that you want to hit, something's missing, something's off, then the 21-day challenge might be the perfect fit for you to reignite your self-belief, reignite your passion so you succeed like never before. In 21 days, what will happen is we'll set a meaningful goal for you, and you'll understand why it's important to you. You'll understand your values about achieving this goal and why it's important, what's at stake for you. On a daily basis, you will have the support that you need to succeed. We'll have daily check-ins, whether that's texting or calls, and weekly deep dive calls to make sure that you're uncovering the limiting beliefs, the things that are stopping you from succeeding so that you can get back into flow and build a better business and make a bigger impact in the world. So you'll learn how to dial in your habits, your morning routine, your nighttime routine. You'll learn how to track your metrics, and you'll learn how to stay on track and get back on track whenever you fall off. So the 21-day challenge, let me know if you're interested in it. It may be a fit for you. It may not be. It's very intense, very, very, very intense. So it's only for people who want to achieve their top goal, top priority, and they're willing to go through basically whatever it takes to get that in a way that fulfills you and empowers you to step into your greatest possible self. So that's our commitment to you at the 21-day challenge. Next, let's talk about the iTunes review of the week, who was left by Yogi Boo. Or which was left by Yogi Boo. And Yogi Boo says, genuine and transformational. Chris has a gift for asking the right questions and a style that motivates and makes me feel great. He is living into his work and sharing it in a meaningful way that will inspire you to take big leaps. I highly recommend it. So Yogi Boo, thank you so much for the iTunes review of the week. We appreciate you, and I hope you are loving the show. If you want to give us feedback, if you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes. You can do that there, or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on iTunes or on Facebook, and leave us a review there. So I appreciate you if you do that. Thank you so much for that. Born a natural healer, Dezi became a seeker of deeper truth, desiring knowledge about consciousness and the universe around her. After completing her studies in psychology, holistic medicine, and Maharishi Ayurveda, she kept searching for ways she could contribute to improving the health and quality of her life, or of life, for her clients and the world as a whole. In 2011, Dezi had a life-changing encounter when she met Guruji Mahendra Trivedi, founder of the Trivedi Effect. After receiving her first blessing from Guruji, Dezi realized this was what she'd been seeking her whole life. Through Guruji's blessings and guidance, her divine gift was enhanced. She is able to harness and transmit life force energy to people, animals, plants, and to optimize their potential and to change the nature and behavior of non-living materials. Dezi's healing abilities have been validated in scientific research for overall health and well-being, improved quality of life, anti-aging, vitamin D3, and bone health. And she is here to rock the house with us to share some incredible information. And Dezi, are you ready to bring the heat?
I'm ready to bring the heat.
That's right. She's ready. Oh, yeah. Awesome. You are now live on Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self, Dezi. Thanks so much for showing up today. We appreciate you being here to take time out of your schedule to share with our audience all that you've learned and experienced. Well, maybe not all, but most of it.
Well, I'm so grateful that you've given me the opportunity to come here and do this. And so thank you, Chris. This is just phenomenal, and I really appreciate it.
Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. This is just the beginning. So, Dezi, our theme is 0 to 60 real fast. So I'm curious, how has this concept of wanting to get somewhere quickly, how has that impacted your life? And maybe going from stuck or stopped and then getting to a place as quickly as you could. Tell us more about how this philosophy and speed plays into your life.
So one thing that I know from, this energy and working with somebody like, we call him Guruji, which is beloved teacher, is that the more evolved you become, the more tapped into that life force energy that is you, which really underlies who you are. The greater you're able to literally just jump and see the opportunities that come your way. So life is going to happen no matter who you are, and it happens to all of us. the beautiful thing about this is that even with life happening around you, you're able to capitalize upon the opportunities that come your way and use them to your greatest advantage. So that's the thing that I've noticed the most out of this over the last several years that I've been working with Guruji. And also when I was first introduced to him, a number of things happened to me and around me. I had, family members that passed away. And again, through this energy, I found that I was able to literally move through it with ease and grace in a way that I know I probably would not have been able to do, certainly not to that degree without this. And that's something that's really important. It's very easy to get stuck in here, get stuck in what we think, we believe, our emotions, because they're incredibly charismatic. And the wonderful thing is to be able to separate out from that so that you are able to, again, go, okay, this is for me. This is not for me. I need to wait a little bit. Now's the time to take action. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've found, so that I've been able to move forward in my life in leaps and bounds and literally, again, take those opportunities and run with them.
Wow, that's beautiful, beautiful. So tapping into that energy, that life force energy that fuels you, and being in alignment. When you're in alignment, you're able to see the opportunities clearly, and because you're in alignment, you're at a place where you could say, okay, go for it, and it's like, it's easy, it's natural, it's quick, and I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. So let's dive into a little bit more about all these amazing things that you're doing today, because you're a very multi-talented, multi-passionate, multi-abilitied person. Tell us more about the work that you do.
So there are, I guess, two main areas that I'm focused on, and one is, again, this is a divine gift. I pinch myself every day that I have been graced with the ability to harness this life force energy, the energy of creation, grace of God, if you would like, to optimize people, things, even non-living materials, and it can be done anywhere in the world. So that's the beauty of this. And one area that I'm very passionate is about health and wellness. I've got a background in alternative medicine, Shiatsu and Chinese medicine, Maharishi Ayurveda, and that is something that has always excited me. How can we function at a level that is at our best? If we look at disease is being out of ease with our true nature. And through all the years where I've studied different modalities, what I found is that when you can restore that balance, then we're able to bring back that natural blueprint of our body functioning at its optimal level. And that's, again, the beauty of this energy. It's working at the level of pure intelligence. It is that creative intelligence that underlies who and what we are. So from there, it ripples up and then enhances every aspect about who we are. So whether you're looking at the cellular level, the molecular level, the organism as a whole, us as a human being, it helps us with our cognitive functioning, the way our brain functions. It helps balance our emotions so that we're able to be more discerning. We're not crippled by depression or anxiety or worry, fear about the future. We're able to be healthy. So, improve longevity, anti-aging, boost our immunity. And let's face it, quality of life, really our health is our greatest wealth. Right. If you've got phenomenal wealth, that then ripples out to, you go into your day, like with you, you start the day, it's like, yes, you're voracious, you're enthusiastic, you eat up life. And that's the most, that's the most important gift. And you can see it in people, in their eyes, in their skin, in how they function, in their energy. That's that life force. And when we get sick, that gets diminished. So we see that our eyes are not so shiny, our hair looks bad, our skin is kind of gray. And so one area is to help people with their health and well-being. That is a key area, because when you have that, it also ripples out into your relationships with your family, your friends, the people you love the most. And then the other area that excites me, of course, is business, because this can be applied to the wellness of companies and corporations, how they're functioning, to again boost the success of the company, boost the success and the cognitive functioning of the executive team, so that they again are operating at the optimal level. They can be more creative. They are able to make decisions that perhaps they wouldn't have made in the past, but because now they're more in tune with this creative intelligence, again, they are taking those opportunities and growing constantly with what they're doing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. So we mentioned two different areas. One is the health of each personal individual. And then as we move to kind of like a bigger organization, more of a community, we're still working on the well-being, the life force, the energy, the presence of each person in the organization that creates different results for the organization as a whole.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's the beauty of this. It ripples out to everybody around us. Before I, started working with Guruji, and when I very first started, I did business coaching and life coaching. And the phenomenal thing that I found with my coaching clients, and they weren't receiving the energy from Guruji, I was, but I found my clients were getting amazing results. And I knew that was rippling out to them. So that's the beauty of this energy, is that it does ripple out to people in our immediate sphere of influence to optimize, again, the results, the potential of who we are and what we're doing.
Beautiful. And is this life force energy, is this something that we cultivate on our own? We know that you have the gift of imbuing it into people, or whatever your power is, right? And using that, and it's everyone has superpowers, whatever it is, whether it's critical thinking, whether it's being able to manipulate matter and energy, and sending that energy to things and through things. So I think it's just like for us to get into this awareness and consciousness that everyone has superpowers, everyone has abilities. It's just like, how are we developing them? How are we utilizing them? So in terms of this life force energy, I'm predicting that you can help people with that, to cultivate that, to send it to them, as well as we can cultivate it on our own. Is that correct?
So all of us are filled up with life force. Everything around us, everything is filled with the energy of creation. And this energy is universal, it's intelligent. So everybody has it. It's in every single cell, every atom of what we are. It's in our environment. It's in the universe around us. What this does is it deepens and enhances our connection with the divine, the God of our understanding. So think of it, if you will, that this universal creative intelligence is kind of like the internet. And we might have like a little tiny pipeline to that internet. So by receiving this life force energy, from what I do. So I have the ability to harness, transmit it, and then, infuse it into the recipient, whether it's a person, it can be plants, it can be animals. But what it does is it opens up that pipeline so that we have a greater connection. And of course, the more you have that in your life, then the greater the potential you have in your life. It opens up our consciousness. And that's how that works. So we inherently have life force energy within us. And so this just ripples out to us so that we have greater potential.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's a great explanation. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Seriously, seriously. I love it, because what I'm understanding is that this energy is already in and around and through, everything in this universe. It's just a question of, are we tapped into being fueled by it, being able to harness it, being able to like utilize it to create the results that we want in our life. So you help open up the kind of like the like you said, the portal, or the ability to access that. You help people open that up. You intend to do that. You like whatever the mechanism is that you access, you open that up so people can access their energy, their life force energy more, and create better results in their life.
Exactly. And that's it. For me, this is, with this is, again, like I said, this is divine energy. This is the energy of creation. So I'm merely a conduit for this. But the beauty here is, I make a very humble request. You would never, ever presume to tell God or the divine what to do. Besides, we all, we all have a divine destiny. So this is something where I make a humble request to the divine, to do the needful for whoever the recipient is, whoever the person is, or the entity, the community, the group, so that it gets the outcome that is needed. And
it's in its highest and best good.
You got it.
Right.
You got it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is gold, and I want to dive more into like the mechanism, the how, and experiencing it, all that good stuff. I do want to go back to your journey though, because how we get to today is always super, super fascinating. It's incredible.
Amazing. If somebody who had said to me, how does a girl from Australia end up in, first of all, in America, ends up in Las Vegas, Nevada? How is that even possible? I mean, I still look and I'm fascinated, but this is that whole divine destiny where when we are really focused on paying attention to that inner guidance system, then the people that are going to enhance your life the most will appear. And if you are awake enough and aware enough to pay attention and grab that opportunity. I mean, you have to, when that opportunity brings itself to you, you don't even think about it. It's a yes.
Yeah. Then
of course, that's how you get here. And, I moved to the United States in 2003. Again, I ended up getting married at that stage. I was married 2 years before. I used to work for an airline. And in fact, what was fascinating is when I first started working for Qantas, which was the airline I worked for, I had a passenger who came up to me one day and said, "What are you doing here?" And I looked at him and said, "Is this a trick question?" I said, "Here, I'm working here." And he said, "You have a gift. You have to share it with the world." And at that stage in my kind of late 20s, no idea. I was clueless. But, fasting forward, clearly he saw something. And I kind of always had that in my head. And, I went on to study many different things. Again, through divine providence, I met my then second husband. I got to move to the United States. I got into doing personal training. I became a personal trainer. I became a master coach, life coach, business coach. I got to work with some of the top luminaries in that arena. And through that, I happened to get a client. I had many clients and I was running with about 135 clients at one stage. That was kind of the peak of the clients that I was working with. So I worked with a lot of people. But one day back in 2011, a client said to me, "I'm really excited. I'm coming to California." And I said, "Okay, what are you doing?" And she said, "I'm doing a retreat with Mahendra Trivedi." And I went, "Who's that?" I had no idea. And so she said, "Go and have a look at his website and go and have a look at the video." So I had a look, and there was something about him. And I'm sure you probably had the experience that you meet somebody or you see somebody and immediately there is this energy, there is something that speaks to your spirit. And there was something about him. And so I I immediately went, okay, there was something about him. I decided to sign up he had an online webcast. Mm-hmm. He had 2,000 people online that were attending, and he did an energy transmission or a blessing for 2,000 people. I mean, that's incredible. 2,000 people. It was just like, who is this man? So I had the most incredible experience. And after that experience, I had my phone next to me, and I looked down at my phone, and there was a message from my mom, and my brother had just died in Australia. So that was just, so I had this amazing experience. And then I was in shock. I walked out of the room. I went to sit with a very dear friend of mine who I was living with. And I said, oh my God, my brother's just died. But I felt this incredible experience. I literally, even though I was crying and I was full of grief, I could feel this ecstasy, like, oh my God, this is what it's like to be fully alive and feel everything. Wow. So that was it. I went, you know what? I have to meet him. I have to know about him. So within 10 days of that happening, I went to a retreat and I got to meet him. And, 9 months before my brother had died, my dad had died. So I'd lost my dad, I lost my brother. Wow. And so there was all of this incredible, as you can imagine, incredible sadness and grief and everything around that. And I found when I was at the retreat, it lifted. Then I had the opportunity to meet him in person and sit in front of him and get an in-person energy transmission. Wow. And of course it was just like, okay, I have to do this. and so I sat, I went in and we were told, don't look at him and don't talk to him and be respectful. And it's like, yes, right. Be silent. And I sat down in front of him and he's from India. So I looked into his eyes and he has the most incredible eyes, because he's just, he literally, he's like pure divine. He is a master, and I have never had the other way I could put it is, I have never met anybody like Guruji. He is in a league of his own. And so I sat in front of him, I looked into his eyes and they went indigo blue. And then it was like all the stars in the universe appeared in his eyes. And I went, oh my God, your eyes. And the whole thing of don't speak, don't want to, and that was it. And he just smiled and he mentioned that he was in this kind of trance. I said, no, it's like, I'm seeing the universe in your eyes. I've got to be doing what you're doing. And so, he explained that he was going to start doing this amazing course. It was called at that stage, it was called the Healing Masters course. It's now the Healer's Mastery course. And this was in him infusing this energy in us on a regular basis, whether it was, every other day or every day, to develop us. And I said, that's it, I'm doing it. And I was in Northern California originally before all of this. Then I was in LA. I then got to meet him. I started doing his program, and more amazing things were happening in my life. And then in 2014, he invited me to come and work with him to be developed more. And how does that, again, it's like, how does that even happen? It's just like, here is one of the most extraordinary human beings on the planet with the most remarkable gift. Really, he is, to put in perspective, Guruji is like Mount Everest, and I'm like a seed. So, and even though I've got extraordinary results, but this will give you the incredible capacity of who he is and what he can do and what he's doing for human beings and what he's going to be doing on the planet over the next several years. It's jaw-dropping. He is so extraordinary, and we are so blessed to have somebody like that in the world. So when he invited me to come and work so I could be developed, it was like, yes. And so I got to work in his organization. I got to work as his assistant sometimes, and get these blessings on a continual basis. And then in 2015, he gave everybody that was doing this program with him the, again, extraordinary opportunity to do science. For somebody like me to have an opportunity, I mean, we got to work with a company called Dubber. Dubber is a research company. Just to give you an idea, it's like a $5 or $6 billion company. So it's one of the biggest research companies in the world. Not in my wildest dreams, in a million years, could somebody like me approach a company like that and say, "Hi, my name's Dezi Koster. I'd like to do some research with you." They wouldn't even look at me. But through the grace of Guruji, Mr. Trivedi, and because he was working with them, he said, "Okay, I want my Trivedi healers to have some science behind them." So between 2015 and this year, so last 3 years, I did a number of science experiments, and by the grace of God, I got amazing results. And I now have 12 papers published in science peer-reviewed journals here in the US, which is amazing. And and that's through the grace of Guruji. He's done, just some perspective, he's done 4,000 scientific research studies. He's got over 350 papers published. And if you look at somebody that is a PhD in science, if they're really lucky, in a 30-year career, they may get 6 papers published.
Wow.
So it really, it is an incredibly stringent, the amount of testing, the scientific methodology, the parameters of being able to do a science experiment is incredibly strict. And then to get a paper published, you have to go before a board of PhDs. It has to satisfy all the different protocols, parameters, and be unique for them to say, "Okay, we're going to approve this paper," and then and only then will it get published. So it is, again, it is a huge honor. It is a huge gift to be able to have something like this. And that's the thing that separates me from it is the thing that separates me from other healers. There are a lot of different people out there in the world saying, "I'm a healer, I do this, I can do this for you." But the thing is, they don't have the science behind them. The beauty of this is they compared our group to people who do things like Reiki and other forms of healing modalities. And what they found was they didn't get any results. But our results are huge. For some things we got anywhere from, some of my individual experiments got 30% increase, 50% increase, 180% increase or improvement. Some parameters, 400% improvement. I mean, it's incredible. So knowing that these are the type of results means that, when somebody receives this energy, they're definitely going to get some type of result. And that's the beauty here. This is not 7 steps or 6 steps. There is no trick. There is no tactic. There is no strategy. This is divine gift. This is divine grace. And through that divine grace, it opens and enhances you as the person receiving it so that you can live your optimal life and you can experience your best gifts to the best of your ability. And that's the beauty of this.
Wow, that's incredible. I love it. I love that you have the science behind it. And, really I think that's such a powerful place, especially for you to stand as the user. There's a lot of people out there who have this imposter syndrome. They feel like they don't belong, or who am I to do this? And now you and have this science, you're like wow, you could just put those papers down on the table of everyone who you go around, or these businesses that you work to, or whatever it might be, and say, read these, and it's peer reviewed medical stuff, which is awesome, or scientific stuff, which is super cool. So let's start diving more into the mechanism and how we can start unlocking our own gifts. Like not maybe mechanism isn't the right word because it's very like mechanistic versus I would say the gift. Let's start diving into the gift and how you expand your greatness around it and utilize it, and then how we can also start expanding our own gifts and stepping into our own power as visionaries, entrepreneurs, high achievers.
Yeah. So, again, when I received this, I, was getting blessings from Mr. Trivedi every day. And so that opened me up more and more and more to, being able to do this, which is one of my divine gifts. And the other thing that I found, that everything that I was doing started happening more easily, more readily. When I go to study or do something, I'm finding that I learn it very quickly. One of the things I have in my background is, I'm a personal trainer. I'm certified with NASM and AFA and NCSF. And so these are something that I do. And I decided to keep it up. Why? Because it's a great credential to have. And if people need help with training or, from that, I'm a fitness and nutrition specialist, a weight loss specialist. So these are credentials that are great to have. And every 2 years, you have to recertify. It's not just you've got that and you've got it for life, because they want to make sure that you're keeping up to date with the latest material and you're doing whatever's needed. So, one of the things is have to sit, you've got to sit for an exam and do all this type of thing. And I just find that it comes in and it's like you're on the ball. And, it was very easy to study material and then, of course, pass the exam. So again, for people that are receiving this energy, so, when people get energy transmissions from me or they get the blessings, and, it's interchangeable, it's exactly the same thing. Then the same thing is for them, that what will happen is that they're tapping into, or they have more of that creative intelligence or more of that energy of creation within themselves. So whatever your natural gifts, talents, skill sets are, that gets enhanced more and more. And like I mentioned earlier, for us as human beings, because we've been around for a long time, it's very easy for this, our ego, our thoughts, our emotions to get in the way of our results. It's like, we start making excuses. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't know if I can do it. I don't have the confidence. By having this, it peels that away more and more and more. And so you realize, you start going, wait a minute, that's just a belief. If I don't know how to do it, I'll find the way, I'll find the person. So, my area of expertise is not in building websites. I'm never going to be a website builder. So at the moment I've got somebody, I've got a team of people building my website. Why? Because it's not my love. It's not my passion. It's not what I do. So it's very easy to go, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to delegate. I need to outsource, or I need to learn. What are the strategies? What do I need to learn in order to help me do that? So again, it helps us to be more discerning. It helps us to recognize when we are out of integrity with the nature of who we are. We recognize, okay, this is a thought. This is an emotion. Do I really need to tap into that drama? Probably not. And then, and then you start to look at, okay, do I want to listen to this voice in my head, or do I want to really follow my passion and follow my heart? And, this helps you to be braver, more courageous, take the risks, because in order to be successful, you have to take risks in life. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure you know what that's like. And that is something that's vitally important, because in order to get to the next level, you have to take that leap. You have to take that jump. And that's what this energy does. It helps support us so that it tones down the anxiety, the fear of the future, anything else that's there that's standing in our way. Plus, it strengthens our whole functioning so that we have greater health. Our quality of sleep improves. our immune system becomes more robust. You know, our bones get stronger, our skin gets finer and better. So everything, you know, works in our favor. Everything starts flowing more in accord with the laws of nature. We become more in flow with nature around us. And that's, you know, that's what I find that this does. It does it for me and for everybody that I work with.
What's an appropriate regimen of getting this energy and receiving this energy through these blessings? Like, how often should it happen? And, you know, you mentioned that Guruji does this as well. So, like, you know, what's the optimal way to get this? Is it to have like a one-on-one session with you?
Sure.
So how does it work?
So there are two different ways that you can do this. It can be done, you know, 99.99% of the time, it's done remotely. You know, the beauty of all the science experiments that I did was it was done remotely. It was done 8,000 miles away.
Wow.
So to see these results from a one-time blessing to recipients 8,000 miles away, I mean, again, it's extraordinary. Wow. So you don't have to, you know, you don't have to come and meet me in person. If you want to do in person, of course you can. The optimal thing is to be receiving this energy every day. Why? Because there is that continuity. There is that momentum that starts accumulating. You're getting this energy every day, every day, every day. So think of it, you know, like if you're a car and you're getting fueled. If you've got that gas in your car every day, you can go and go and go. But if you run out of fuel and you have to stop, and then you have to wait several days. Oh, I've got to get more fuel. Well, you have to wait a month before you get more fuel. That's kind of tough. Right. So optimal, if you can, get it every day. If you can't get every day, get it every second day, or as often as you know you can, or what your budget allows. The other thing is people can do, if they have a specific need that they really need a support for, then they can do a one-time blessing. They can do that remotely, or they can do it in person. And if somebody, you know, if somebody wants to come to Las Vegas and meet me, or they say, you know what, I want to fly you out, I want you to come and meet me and my family, because, you know, when I do this, I do for, you know, for an entire team, or I do it for an entire family. You know, if people want that, then that's something else that I can do as well in order to give the best results.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I love it. So we talked about people can do a one-on-one session with you as well. Is there any way that you could demonstrate on the air, or is it best?
So absolutely. And I know we chatted about this before. So what I can do is, you know, I can do a group energy transmission for everybody that's going to be here live. So I'll explain what I'll be doing, and then I will do it. So that way everybody will receive a blessing. And so what I'm going to get everybody to do in a moment, not just yet, but I'm going to get you to remove your shoes and socks. So if you want, you can start doing that right now as we're chatting. And the reason being is that is in reverence to the divine, so that, you know, you are there. And then what you will do when I tell you to, you're going to say quietly in your head a prayer to the God of your understanding. Everybody's God of their understanding is different. So whatever the God of your understanding is, that is who you're going to say a prayer to, just quietly in your head. If you don't believe in God, but you recognize that there is this amazing intelligence, nature, source, self, whatever it is, that's perfectly fine. After a short period of time, then I will say, stop your prayer. You'll just stay with your eyes closed for a moment. And then I'll tell you to open up your eyes, and that will be it.
Beautiful. I love it. I'm excited. Everyone ready? Type in a thumbs up for everyone who's in the Facebook Live, because this is going to be epic. Dezi,
okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move to this side, so I'm kind of out of the screen while I'm doing this. So I'm going to do that right now. And so for everybody, please make sure you just take off your shoes and socks right now. And so that goes for you, Chris, too. And then they're off. Perfect. Wonderful. All right. So then I'm going to get everybody now to close their eyes. Okay. And then, like I said, I'm moving out of the picture now. And so just give me a moment. All right. And then for all of you, you can start your prayer. And stop your prayer and stay with the eyes closed. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow.
So that's a blessing. That's an energy transmission.
Thank you. So what can people expect when they go through this process with you on a more consistent basis? Well, right now, for everyone who is listening, we had a couple of viewers who are out there. What can they expect to feel or to recognize from the blessing? And then moving forward, I think we talked about it a little bit, but just to reinforce.
So everybody has a different experience. The thing here is not everybody feels this energy. Some people are very sensitive. Some people are not. Guruji himself was gifted directly by the divine and has never felt anything. Every time I've gotten an energy transmission, I can feel it, but it's not about what you feel. It is about what starts happening in your life. For some people, after an energy transmission, that first night, it's like, oh my goodness, I slept like a log. It's the best sleep I've ever had in my life. For some people, they experience fatigue because their body starts clearing and cleansing. And that fatigue is a wonderful thing because that's when your body is repairing, restoring, rejuvenating. For other people, it's like, wow, I've got so much energy. So everybody experiences a little bit different. But again, this over time, you start noticing, one of the wonderful things that I found with a couple of people that I've been working with more recently, that automatically they start doing things that they would never have done before. They automatically, it's just like, oh, I need to do this to improve my business. I need to do this to start improving my skill set. So it just becomes an automatic thing. It's things that you would perhaps resisted in the past, that resistance goes away. You start taking better care of your health. Some people find that they just automatically start gravitating, you know what, I need to drink more water, and they just do it. Or what they eat changes. So they start aligning automatically, easily, effortlessly with eating better quality food that nourishes them, rather than garbage food that will only make them sick. So depending on you and how your body receives this life force energy, it can be a myriad of different things. But generally, they're the type of things that people can expect. And again, this is something that happens over time. I know some people love the idea of, I want instantaneous results. You know, that's a kind of life and society we live in. It doesn't quite work that way. It's something where, you know, you have to see this over time. And, you know, as you're getting this more and more and more, more of this gets imbued into who you are in your life, that you start seeing things with greater clarity. You find that, you know, one of the things that I say, it's almost like we become Teflon coated. If you look at a Teflon plan, or if you were to spray, that you would want to, but things don't stick. So same with us, you know, things that we would have got bogged down with in the past. It's like, oh, well, it's okay. I'll come up with another solution, or solutions will start flying to you. And it's like, wow, I didn't even think of that. You know, that's some of the things that I found, is that it's just, oh my goodness, here's another. Oh my goodness, there's so many solutions. I can choose whichever one works for me. So there are some of the things, and you're able to pivot in any direction automatically, so that you can go down the path that best serves you and gives you the greatest outcome. Because ultimately, this is about what's the greatest outcome that you can achieve in your life. So that, you know, that's what this does.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. So what can we anticipate with you and what you're creating in the coming years with the Trivedi Effect and sharing your divine gift and healing people? What do you see in the horizon for yourself?
Well, besides just, you know, helping people on a smaller level, I want to start looking at areas where I can help out in the community. In the last week, a friend of mine invited me to go along to a program here in Las Vegas. It's called Hope for Prisoners. And it is an incredible program for people that have committed some type of crime. And this is, you know, I mean, this is kind of serious, hardcore, you know, people that have, you know, made a mistake in their life, and they've been in prison for, you know, their sentence may have been 20 years, 30 years. They may be getting out after 10 years. But if you look at the statistics, somebody like that, the rate of return back to prison is something like 75% the recidivist rate. It's huge. So this program, it's an 18-month program, and they have a whole slew of people supporting them. And, you know, I'm looking at perhaps becoming one of their, you know, a mentor, you know, to see how what I'm doing can support them. You know, I went to a graduation last week. There were 24, both men and women, graduating from this program and going back into life. So they get supported with integrating back into their life. They've got a slew of people to help them get a job and feel good about themselves. And they had a Supreme Court justice there. They had the district attorney there. They had police there, community people. They had a whole group of people supporting them. And I love that idea about giving back and also realizing that we all need a second chance. Whether it's a second chance for health and wellness. You know, one of the areas that I'm very, very passionate about helping women. I'm a woman myself, but so which of course helps. But women are so much up and coming now, and when you look at women the last 100 years, 50 years, 20 years, there are still so many of them that are standing back in the shadows of who they could be, standing back in the shadows of their greatness. So just supporting women to be the best that they can be and to really become role models for young girls, for other women around the world, so that we as a community of women, we as the human race can really step into our greatest potential. That to me is vitally important. I want to be able to help support the environment. Our environment is suffering on a number of different levels. And again, this energy is remarkable for working with plants, with soil, with pollution, with all kinds of things. There is no end to what this can do. So I'm just kind of at the beginning stages of, where I want to be focusing the gifts. Children is another area, because children are the leaders of our tomorrow. And so where I can help wellness on a grand scale, whether it be community, whether it's society, whether it is our nation, whether it's the world as a whole, that's where I'd like to position myself. That's the big awesome picture dream.
Yeah, I love it. I love all those different possibilities and outcomes. And I believe as you share those more and those different opportunities, you'll start noticing which ones call to you the most. You'll start gravitating. You'll start attracting the opportunities for the ones that really align the most with you. So I'm super excited to see that unfold and you share your gifts with these communities and really make a difference for these people's lives and have them step into their gifts, their greatness, and especially the women who were hiding in the shadows and the prisoners who didn't have hope, like to be able to give that back to them. It's like a new lease on life. And I think that's so important that we recognize there's always an opportunity to begin again, no matter, what kind of mistakes that we made. We can forgive ourselves. We can, show up in the world in a completely different way any moment. So I love that you're doing that. So Dezi, how can people stay connected with you and what do we want them to do next?
Okay, so what we want them to do next is, I've given you some material that you can send out to people, but you can, people can call me directly. They can email me. My website is not up yet, but you can certainly, if you look at Dezi at DeziKoster.com, you'll see that I'm one of the Trivedi healers. You'll have my direct phone number. You'll find me on Facebook. I have the Dezi Koster page. You will find me holistic and life force energy healer. So you can call me, we can schedule a time, we can chat. If you want me to come and work with you and your family, or you want to do these blessings or energy transmissions, if you want me to come in and work with your corporation. I also do things like what I call breakthroughs for people. So if somebody's really, really stuck in their life and they just don't know what to do, then, I do programs where I work with them for an entire day. They can come, they can come to me or they fly me out to wherever they are. And I do a whole day of, dismantling everything that is holding them back. And then of course at the end, do one of these beautiful transmissions, and then we can put them on a program and they never look back.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing, Dezi. You are doing incredible work in the world. And anyone listening right now, definitely stay connected with Dezi. Send her a message, connect on Facebook, connect with her, and let her know that you are ready to take your life to the next level, to become your greatest possible self through incredible life force energy healing. And Dezi, thank you so much for the blessing. Thank you for everything that you're doing. And we appreciate you.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much for having me and for giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.